Good afternoon, everyone. Today's nice. My agenda. Today it's Tuesday, September 28th. This is it's 5:33. This is the time for a special CRA meeting. Before we move forward, let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilwoman Marie-Stime Irvin, can you pray for us, please? Yes.
Bow our heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this day. I thank you for the health, life, and strength as we're about to go into a meeting. Help it to be productive. Help us to remember that we're here to do the work of the people. And I ask that you be with all of us and whoever is not here to guide them on their way. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you very much. Madam Secretary, can you do roll call, please?
Board Member Galvin. Here. Board Member Estime Irvin.
Present.
Board Member Timothy. Here. Board Member Desilme. Chairman Bieneme.
Here.
Chairman, you have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you very much. Item for review and action. Agenda item number 1.
Agenda Item 1, Resolution to approve Fiscal Year 21-2022 Budget. A resolution of the Chair and Board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency approving the Fiscal Year 2021-2022 budget. Authorizing the CRA Executive Director to transmit the Fiscal Year 2021-2022 budget to the City of North Miami and Miami-Dade County. Authorizing the CRA Executive Director to take all action necessary to complete the approval process for the Fiscal Year 2021-2022 budget with the City of North Miami and Miami-Dade County, and providing an effective date. Agenda Item 1.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. Can you put the PowerPoint up, please? At the last meeting, the board directed us to find additional funds to fund the Arts on the Plaza, $70,000, the Griffin Community Center, we've identified $130,000, and P3 Consultants for the city, about $600,000. To reach that goal so we can have a balanced budget, we proposed, we reduced staff, postponing acquisition of the trash cans, and we've reduced the promotional events, the special events that we had originally in the budget. And that's what we're proposing to balance the budget and to provide you with what you had requested at last CRA Board meeting.
That's it? That's it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and a quick question before we move forward. For the year 2020-2021, we had $300,000 for the garbage, for the trash, right?
Yes, sir.
And this year you have 300,000.
Yes, sir. It was carried over.
Or it's 300 carryover, but it wasn't 600,000.
No, sir. It was
Okay.
never. This is for the previous years that we just
Okay.
carried it over because we haven't acquired them yet.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's open it to the public. Public hearing is open on agenda item number 1, is the budget for the year 2021-2022. Public hearing is open on the budget. This is the last call for public hearing, comment on the 2021-2022 CRA budget Public hearing is now closed. Let's come on the dais. Let's start with Councilwoman Estime Irvin.
Chairman, as of 5:37, Board Member Desome is now present.
Okay, and let's start with, since Councilwoman is that way, let's go to Councilman Galvin.
No questions.
No questions about the budget. Councilman Desome?
Come to me last. I just got here. I'm just trying to get myself together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Cassandra Timothy?
Yes. Ms. Camo, can you go over the areas where you made the changes in the budget so that we can have it on record, please?
Okay. Like, as I stated, we reduced the staff, we removed the deputy director position, and the part-time business specialist. We've
Can you put the
reduced.
volume up, please? Dunya, I'm talking about the volume up. Okay, go ahead.
All right. We reduced the marketing and promotional events. It was originally $281,000. It is now $70,000. It is for the Arts on the Plaza. We removed the trash cans acquisition, which was $300,000. So that allowed us to find the money to fund the $600,000 for the P3 consultants, the $130,000 for the Griffin Community Center design, and then the Arts on the Plaza.
Wait.
So for Section 8, professional services, I know we originally had it at 300.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I removed the restaurant boot camp at $25,000.
What did you remove?
The restaurant boot camp at $25,000.
Okay. So for that area, because I know that's where we were paying, in your initial narrative in the budget, you said costs associated with consultants for downtown redevelopment, the P3 financial advisor, PR firm, Nomi Restaurant Pilot. Since that money is now being sent over to the city, shouldn't that number have gone down a little bit more since we have the financial advisors will be paid through the P3 consultant, the P3 consultant will now be moved to number 11? Well, yeah.
The redevelopment consultant is not the P3 consultant. The P3 was just one project that he would be working on. The fact that we have to amend the redevelopment plan to include the Solomia Park, to include Griffin Community Center, and the other projects that we have to do, we need a redevelopment consultant for that. And the financial advisor is the person who will help us with our future loans to finance all these projects.
So no, but I'm just looking at your budget, the narrative and how it changed, because it went from
Since the
downtown
city's
redevelop-
taking
yeah.
the lead on the P3, we've, so that's no longer on our responsibility. We are now focusing on primarily what we need to get done as per the CRA plan, which, like I said, we need to amend the plan to include Solomia Park, the Griffin Community Center, and also fund these future projects, the train station, and so on.
So I think for me, what I'm looking for is where to add back to number 4, because that one was reduced significantly. So that's where we do, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
what I'm
now.
looking for specifically is where to add back to item number 4, because that one was reduced by over hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that's where we do our outreach. That's where we do the business luncheons and so forth. So to take a bulk of the money from there, I think was a bit, extreme. But I would like to see that one, be refunded, because that's where a lot of the initiatives and, luncheons will come out of, or, events that we may try to do for the CRA in terms of business outreach. And legal services, I noticed that one went up by $50,000 from the year prior to. Is it a firm? How is that number calculated to get the additional 50 that was added to item 7?
Yes, it's a firm. The firm has been the CRA legal advisor for the last 15 years. The budget is set by the executive director based upon what's anticipated for the coming year. As she's mentioned, we're going to have to go to the county this year to amend the redevelopment plan. That requires legal services. That requires negotiating with the county. That requires going to county commission meetings. We have additional, infrastructure grants, TIF rebates that we're anticipating, since we have one of them coming back to us. One way to reduce that number, it's a budget. It doesn't mean that it's paid and that's the end of it, is to, and I've implemented this in other CRAs that I represent, is that we make the developers pay the legal fees, so that it's not coming out of the CRA's pocket. But that's on a, prospective going forward basis. That'd be one way to, basically save on the amount of fees the CRA pays. But until we know what developers are coming to us, what projects are coming to us, I don't know if there, how many of those there are and how much we could save.
Okay. And are you the only lead counsel, or is, for, God forbid, if you can
I'm the lead counsel. I have an associate and a paralegal help me with the North Miami CRA.
Okay, just a paralegal, you said?
No, an associate and a paralegal
Oh,
to
an
assist
associate
me
and a paralegal.
with this
Okay.
particular client. The firm is called Spiritus Law LLC.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then moving over to capital infrastructure grants and projects. How do we calculate which infrastructure grant comes first, Ms. Camo? Because I know we have a couple of, a couple that were approved at the same time, like Alert and 1155 NOMI. How do you distinguish which one comes first? Is that based on the project timeline, or is that just how you insert in the...
When they apply, they have to provide the information to show their level of readiness, and they provide a timeline as to when they're going to start needing the funds for the cash flow. So that's why on this you see those two projects, but you don't see the one that was recently funded, which is Allure of North Miami, because they're at least 18 months out and not ready to, they're not going to be ready to draw on their cash. But it is expected to be budgeted for in the coming year, because, after 12 months it should be ready.
Okay. And NOMI residency, I know that one has been, there was some debacle about that one. What's going on with NOMI residency now? Residency at NOMI.
As I briefed you all, residences at NOMI was recently funded for the infrastructure grant and their TIF rebate. However, we have not been able to finalize their agreements, because now it seems that they're trying to bring in additional financing partners or trying to sell the property. We've given them a specific deadline to provide us their financing information. And actually, the CRA attorney has given them a deadline, I think this Friday. If not, then we need to bring it back to the board so the board can resend the grant and we can release the funds.
So there may be some additional funding opening there. Okay. And then Rux part-time. Okay. That's it for me, Mr. Mayor.
For now, okay. Councilman Desilmay?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm a little bit lost because I wasn't here. Briefly, what is happening now? I looked at this budget, Ms. Camo. Looking at it, I know I wasn't here, and then we haven't. I think maybe 4 weeks ago, well, 3 weeks ago, we probably had the last meeting when I met with Ms. Daniel from the city side. So what's going on? So I know it wasn't passed last time, and I didn't have a chance to look at this.
I guess essentially in terms of projects that we've discussed, we do have the Eat Healthy Pilot Farmers Market is still listed at $100,000. We have funds for commercial grants. We have certain carryovers. And some for housing initiatives. We still have the funds.
Because the same problem that I have with the city, and I'm having it with the CRA, and I need to speak out because this is not right. It's well, to me, it looks like, I was gone for the last budget meeting. I wasn't here. And it's not right that the largest district in the city, because everybody's looking at the district. So specifically, I need you to tell me, what is it that, because I don't have nothing from the city side, So what is it that you have for District 4? Because I'm getting to the point where I'm tired. So in this budget, because I'm hearing everything, and I normally don't, talk about in terms of District 4, but I didn't do that for the city. We didn't get nothing. And I'm upset. So now I'm looking at this, it's the same BS. So specifically, what is it that, last year I didn't get nothing, but that was, I understand where we were. So the same thing. And so where are we? What specifically in here that's for District 4? Let's just talk about that.
But specifically for District 4, there are continuations of projects that we did not finalize this fiscal year, which is, like I said, the Farmers Market Pilot Program for $100,000, the Gateway signs.
That was
and
from last year.
That was from this year that we need to continue.
So you
And-
can't count last year to this year. So in this new budget that's coming, specifically, again, my question is for the residents of District 4, because we had the, I stayed quiet, you had the initiative for the apartments and stuff. I didn't have none in my district, so we suffered. And the people, got upset, it was me again. So for this year again, what do we have? Because the Gateway, I fought, and we still didn't have it because of COVID. So I saw the Gateway, and I saw the food pilot program, the restaurant pilot program that we did have, that got kind of spread out.
And Northwest 7th Avenue Streetscape also. That's
That-
a
that was from
continuation.
this year, or-
Yep, that's this year. This is a continuation to get it done. That's $150,000.
But that was from last year.
Yes, this.
So this year again, let me ask my question, maybe
So the funds that we have are for the commercial grants and for the housing initiatives, and that is where, if the board chooses, like you did this past year, is to set aside funds to help with COVID relief and so on. And this past year, the board did set aside funds to help with mortgages and utilities and some, throughout the CRA. I don't
Okay.
have a specific project
So in other
outlined
words,
for, in this coming year in District 4 specifically.
okay, but you have for the others.
Well,
And that's not fair. No, I'm looking at it. Whatever $100,000, whatever that you have for I don't want it. So you could keep it. That's fine. I really don't. For no, that because it comes to the point, and I'll let the community know, because I cannot, the city is one thing, I don't get nothing, and over here I don't get nothing. So I will let them know that it's not fair. I am here to fight one thing, but everything, it seems like it's for the other side of the city, and the people are upset. And I had the same discussion, it's been for years and years and years, it's the same thing. So there's nothing on 7th Avenue, we talk about nothing, and there's nothing here. So I was gone for 1 week, I know, and then $100,000 that we talk about, the food market, the farmer's market. So all of the initiative, no, it's fine, you could take it. So that's fine, I'm done, thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman Desormeaux, Councilman Marie-Esmeralda.
Can you just revise with me the number, and thank you for revising the budget. Can you just go with me, what's the final number for arts and public places?
it's $200,000.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
still the
that-
same because we've already encumbered it. We've done the call to artists. We follow the city's public arts process. We've had a blind selection, and the artists were selected, and the press release came out. Of course, if the board chooses to cancel it, I don't have any issues with that. It's up to the board's discretion.
Okay. My only concern is that, I'm so sorry. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Yes, so I apologize, guys. My only concern, I share similar concerns with Commissioner Timothy with the marketing and promotional event. As you know, the Women Empowerment Luncheon,
So edit to that. So you can take that.
Commissioner Dezume, we are all here to talk. And what would you like to have?
You could add, would that be enough?
Oh,
That's why I was giving you money.
well, it's our decision.
No,
I mean,
as far as the farmers market is something that we need, and I think every cities have a farmers market. I think That's good for the city and.
But
we
I'm
need to
not
move
doing it, Mr.
forward.
Mayor, so that could be an initiative because
You're not doing it, but
no,
we're doing
that's
it.
fine.
We're doing the farmers market and we're looking for a good location in District 4 to do like. Yeah, but you need to understand, Councilman Desilme, it's not the staff that's gonna come with project for you. You come with the project and you ask staff.
Mr. Mayor, I
do you
have
need
several
money to do
projects.
that?
I have several projects that I've put, it
But
was
you-
in the same thing with
we
the
come up with
city.
an amendment in the budget and
I
propose.
can't, there's nothing in
Then
here.
how do you,
Every-
there's a million of dollars of budget, you propose, you come up with something.
But
What do
he-
you want among those projects? What exactly is important for District 4
Seven-
you want here?
I have
You
seven.
pick.
Well, here we go. We started, and I
pick
think the
some.
residents would know when we talked about, we started, I think Councilman Gavin had mentioned a couple years ago, it was like a couple millions was supposed to go from the Chinatown that we talked about, then that was kind of shift to this thing, and then it was kind of that. So the people kept on asking, what is
No,
it in
changed to
reality?
what?
I don't know,
Why
to
did we change? Why
nothing.
don't we remove it?
There's nothing, I don't know, there's nothing right now in terms of, when you looked at that $100,000, the same thing happened when I looked at the city budget, but on this side, if I'm here and they allow me to be here to speak for them, if the process is unfair, I have projects, and people know that, because I've been delivering in terms of projects, but I will let them know, and I will speak out that I did not have an opportunity on the city side and the CRA when it's only $100,000, and that's not even mine, because when we talked about the farmers market, we've been working when Natasha was here 2 years ago. It's COVID that kind of stopped it. That money been carrying over in terms of that. So how do I go and say I get nothing for them, and then they elect me for what?
Right,
So-
this is this is an
And
opportunity.
wait, and Madam Executive Director, and I remember we were in the process of moving forward with Chinatown. Then
It's
COVID
supposed to
came,
change the
and
name.
then we changed it to a redevelopment
Yeah.
and some types of change.
So what's in there for
And
that?
in your updated plan, you didn't include anything for that area. I remember we were even looking for properties to acquire properties, so for the redevelopment and things like that. In the plan, you don't have anything for that.
The plan in the interlocal calls for investments of a minimum of $3 million on Northwest 7th Avenue corridor. The only challenge is there's so many things that you can fund to have a balanced budget. And the priority was determined by the board in terms of where we spent the money. You asked for, the board asked for the trolleys, we funded the trolleys, the ERP and the consultants for the P3 for the city.
I didn't choose I didn't talk
My-
about
no.
ERP.
My point is that alone is $3.1 million that's going towards those initiatives. So, based on what the board.
But the
votes
7th
on-
Avenue, when we place it, we call it innovative, whatever
Yes,
it was,
yes.
that name, in the new plan.
Nothing.
And last year, did you add money in the budget for it?
We did that's where we had Senelowski do the design guidelines and they did the presentation. They've submitted their final report to CP&D, who I guess would be bringing it to the board to approve it as part of their zoning aspect. We are looking at opportunities to acquire properties on Northwest 7th Avenue still. We just do not
And we
have
were
the
even
funds
talking, and I
available.
remember we were even talking about spending almost $7 million on infrastructure, something like that.
I remember.
Well, the
When we
interlocal
were
says
talking-
3 million, yes.
3
A minimum
million
of
for
3 million.
infrastructure
It's in the
improvements.
interlocal, yes.
Okay,
It's just that,
and-
like I said, the cash is,
And I think
we're
sometime.
working towards it, but at this moment, the cash is not in the budget.
Okay, the cash is not in the budget for that. Let me ask you a question. If the deadline is next Friday or this coming Friday for residencies at NOMI, how much do you have in this budget for set aside?
It's 2 million for 1155 and 1 million for Rooks Park, $666,638 for their first payout, because it was supposed to be a multi-year. So their first payout would have been $666,638.
A quick question
Yes, sir.
for infrastructure and it's three. First of all, when it comes to for line item number 4, We have to find a way to win those initiatives back. That's how we promote the city. And,
In the CRA?
hmm?
You mean to promote the CRA?
It's one money.
No, I know.
The money is for the city,
CRA.
the CRA is for the city is for the CRA. It's only one money, it's just the lawmakers decided to create a special agency to address some economic need for the city, and they create the CRA, but it's one money, whether the CRA spend the money or the city spend it, it's the taxpayers' money, it's coming from the residents' money. That's when you tell it there is no, for capital grants projects, you have 750
That's for this year's, that's carried over.
for rehab. Okay. And you have 816,000 for what?
That's the new funds for this new fiscal year.
That's been for housing rehab total. You're talking about $1.5 million?
Yes, but again, the 750,000 is already practically encumbered.
Oh, the
considering
money,
we already
okay.
got applications for
That's
them.
been between last year and
So-
this year is about $1.5 million.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And capital and infrastructure grant projects, $4.3 million. Capital maintenance, 100. Pioneer Boulevard, then you have $50,000 for one. Okay, you will. Oh no, that's the previous one. Sorry. Yes, Councilman Dizelmek, and how much do you need?
I mean, I don't know how much, because I haven't
But on
gotten
the
nothing for
city side,
years.
you,
No, I don't have nothing for the city. We're not talking about the city. I have nothing. I thought I was gonna at least be fair here, and I'm a little disappointed that at least Rasha, Mrs. Kamo, in reviewing all of these changes, because the resident, we got to treat everybody fairly and equally if that's what we're doing, because a lot of these initiatives that I do is for the entire city. But since we are moving of district, you can't, I mean, there's nothing, I mean, it's obvious. So it went from 7 million, like you said, Mr. Mayor, and the folks been asking, what are we getting? Well, I said, well, I don't know, let's just wait. And to come here, and I must say, I apologize, I've been a little bit busy, I did not meet with you at the city, but we've been talking about this. I did not know, all of my initiatives are off, and then the ones that I do have is from last year that we carried over, and that's not fair. And then there's nothing for no businesses, for nothing, so everything is, if we said we're for one city, I understand that, but we cannot be very, lump-sided where we always get left behind, and you get to a point where it's not fair. Because last year, I said to the executive director, I said, I understand it's a tough year, and you do what you have to do, but next year, and I said the same thing with the city, but when the budget come out, nobody's speaking out for the people over there, so that's why they put me on there, so it's not right. So I do have to speak out on that one, and Mrs. Kamal, I did not expect that. I thought at least if we are being even, it would have been, people cut or something, but nothing. I mean, just, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't.
thank you very much, and you done, Councilman and.
So I'd just like to address a couple of comments. So we are all, obviously we care about our city, but we are all elected to serve our districts. And so we are all advocates for our district. I think that it's our responsibility to specify exactly what it is that we want. And as a board, we say, okay, we come here, we compromise, and we say, okay, here's what we need to do. So I am always open, and I think I'm one that's always ready to collaborate, always open to say, hey, what is it that we want to do, and let's do a give and take, because that's just life. So I'm still trying to understand what is needed to satisfy you, Commissioner Dizzle, for District 4. I'm still waiting for your ask so that we can, figure out
Yes.
what we want to do.
Absolutely. No, but Commissioner Irving, I have been sacrificing. You're right. We do serve all of our district, but I have never had a program where it's only my district. I do. However, the mayor stated, I think we all were here when we do all the presentation, it was $7 million. So $7 million went to not to $4 million, then voice was $3 million, and that's nothing. So how do you negotiate with zero? I mean, we started, it was either they doing the rail or they doing this. When the interlocal agreement went downtown, 7th Avenue was on there. And for some reason, it has disappeared, and it has disappeared. It's been 3 years. So it's not that it's the residents was like, well, we know you fighting, but I'm like, I'm one vote. So if I don't speak out, that's what I'm doing. I am speaking out. I'm just letting them know the money's gone. There's nothing. So we went from 7 million and other things are being funded, and they see it. So it doesn't really matter. Nobody's talking about leaving other things behind. So how do you
But I'm still
negotiate
trying
that?
I think, Councilwoman, and the best thing to do, since right now when you're talking about the CRA, there is not much really to remove unless the best way to address District 4, and in terms of that innovative project, if we try to amend the city budget on the city side to bring those projects to bring them back to life. I think that's the best. On the city side, I'm talking about.
Money. The money's here.
Okay.
So if we take the money here, then
Okay, yeah, what it is, how much money you need.
no, Mr. Mayor, the same folks, what I'm saying, we started with 7 million, right? That was a couple of years ago. So that 7 million went down, it
But
was
I
3
think
million.
the issue is, it's like we've been approving and big scale projects, and those projects is like
And-
$2 million commitment a
And
year.
none of them from
If you take
my
two or
area.
three, you're talking about $6 million commitment even before they put the budget on paper. I think that's the problem. We need maybe
agree.
to chill out and see if we can tell those
But see,
upscale projects.
And I agree with you, Mr. Mayor, and that makes perfect sense. But I have been a staunch supporters of everything that everybody's doing, but it has.
But some of the projects,
And
it's
nothing
city
for Seventh
budget,
Avenue.
because
But that's what I'm saying, but nothing
Yeah.
on the west side. So and I'm always on for city project, but there's nothing coming on my side. So when I come here, because I know the city don't have nothing, so what do the people say? I mean, they gotta say there's nothing.
We gotta put a moratorium on big scale project where you're gonna have $2-3 million allocated for budget for the next 3, 4, 5 years on one project, and so we can have things done to address those. Can I ask you a question, Madam Camo? I know, and you've been looking around 7th Avenue for acquisitions, right? Like property acquisition. And do you have money in the budget in case you have way to, let's say today you need money for something, for that innovative plan you have?
The quick answer would be, right now, no. However, that's the reason why we have a financial advisor and the redevelopment consultant to, once we amend the plan and we can borrow from our future TIF to fund these projects, those projects would get funded. So like the train station, Solomia Park, Northwest 7th Avenue, those projects are large projects, big ticket items like 15 million. Those would get funded through the financing of our future TIF, and that's why we have the financial manager and the redevelopment consultant on our budget. It's a long answer, but that's the answer, the correct answer, I should say.
As it relates to the financial advisor, have we procured their services at all for the last fiscal year? I'm sorry? Have we procured their services at all for the last fiscal year? Like, were they paid out?
They were awarded. They did some preliminary work and told us like our credit rating and so on and so forth, but they haven't done any work yet because we didn't have the projects lined up ready to be financed.
Okay.
So their contract is actually up for renewal. And if the budget is approved as is, then in October, I'll be bringing it up to the board for the board to renew so they can start doing the work.
And that's the same as well for the redevelopment?
Yes. Yes. And again, that's for amending the plan and, the calculating the TIF. So, for these future projects.
And like my colleague said, for line item number 4, I think those are extremely important projects. You're gonna have a firm, okay, I do understand, but when you're talking about the radio and TV promotion for what the CRA is doing, it's something extremely important so the community know what we are doing, and that's why I'm looking to find about $200,000 to add to that line item, and the place that I see it's to take $50,000 from line 7, 100,000 from line 8, and $50,000 from where's the other line? Can I tell you? And 50,000 from line 11.
Where's the line? What page, Mr. Mayor?
And it's okay,
15?
page
Oh.
16. Yeah.
I don't have a book. Oh, is it this?
Oh, it's a comparison between
Yes.
last year and this year to get that. Did you see it, Madam?
Oh, okay,
Madam,
I see.
Madam Executive Director, you have it? I said
To take 50,000 from
take
line 7?
50,000 from line 11.
From legal services,
No, line 11, it's the
11,
yeah.
P3 consultants,
50,000, 100,000 from 8,
professional services,
and 100,000 from and 50 from 7,
legal services.
and to add to item 4. That's my proposal for
And what's number 4, Mr. Mayor? I'm sorry.
number
Events.
4. It's
Okay.
number 4. It's
Events,
for
promotional events.
Last year it was 281,000 for
What's
for
the
what was-
topic?
I'm gonna tell you.
What's the topic of number 4? What's the?
It's
I don't-
Marketing and
Events,
promotional
marketing and
Okay, so
promotional
we're going to
events.
move these monies, Mr. Chairman, from their variety of places you named over
To-
to number 4 for
Yes.
marketing.
Yes,
Gotcha.
not just marketing. It's marketing like, and when I said to
Promotional
line
events.
4, you include mayor's quarterly luncheon, women empowerment, and radio ad, and
Yeah.
those things that's for the newsletter, and all those things that's we need to promote throughout the year.
No issues with the move. I just wanted.
Yeah, no, that's
Understand.
fine. That's my, Madam Clerk, that will be the motion.
I can't
So,
actually.
Can
hear you.
I'll repeat it, and
Yeah.
if you just agree to it, then we can move it, as amended. So the mayor is suggesting that we take 50,000 out of legal services, $100,000 out of professional services, and $50,000 out of P3 consultants for the city. That's $200,000, and that would go under marketing and promotional events.
Which is the 70, it was 70 for MOCA, for the museum. Now it's 270 instead of 281 as proposed.
Question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
If we move money from the city's P3 consultant, does that impact in any way? How does that
No,
impact?
it was, originally we were talking about $500,000 to start.
Right.
We make it 600, I'm just taking 50,000, it's not going back.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, and I should have brought a book up here with
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
It's my
yeah.
fault.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. And,
Is that a motion? Do you need a second?
wait.
Oh, second? Oh,
Wait.
A second?
Wait.
I have a motion made by the chairman to approve Agenda Item 1 as stated by the Executive Director. The motion was seconded by Board Member Timothy. All in favor?
Can we have discussion?
Yeah, we can be open for this. No, we close discussion.
We close discussion?
Yeah, we open for, we did, unless you have a question. We open public hearing.
No,
Oh,
I'm
you-
just saying amongst us.
Oh, okay,
That's
yeah,
what
go
I'm
ahead,
asking.
yeah.
I'm
It's-
saying, Commissioner Dizzle has said that he hasn't had anything here. And I'm, are you going to ask
I
for
don't need
anything?
nothing. I don't. And I'm gonna let the folks know, I really don't. Thank you so much. I told her to take the 100,000. No, I said you have 100,000. I really
No,
don't
we're
want
gonna do
it.
the farmer's
Oh,
market.
that, they doing it,
That's
so I
negotiable.
don't.
That's-
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
That's all.
Oh, okay.
I have a
Yes.
motion made by the chairman to approve Agenda Item 1 as restated by the Executive Director. The motion was seconded by Board Member Timothy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay?
The motion carries with a 4-1 vote.
Thank you very much. Is there any report? No reports?
I do have a question, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor, because I know in our next meeting at 7 o'clock, there's an item that we're going to be conferring over to the CRA, and I know we've already conferred another property. Are we sending you 2 more properties? Is that correct, Rasha? Can you explain to the public the process of how you advertise and I guess what the procedure
No,
is?
let's, we'll have that discussion.
But it's a CRA for the first project that we already sent to Rasha because it's being advertised right now.
Yeah, oh, you don't know, for that
Yeah,
project.
for that one. Can you?
And I
explain?
think, before you move forward, and I think we have a problem and a shortage when it comes to housing, and I think we're gonna change that aspect. Instead of sell a property, it's better to turn it over to housing and social service. They can use NSP money to rehab this property and put it for rent so we can assist the people. I think that would be, for that property, it's best we do it that way instead of sell. Because you're gonna sell it for $150,000, someone gonna buy it, and after that, people that need housing won't be able to rent.
No, and that's why like people call me every day, is there housing or where can I stay? So for that project, Ms. Camo, can you explain to us how is it advertising? I guess what the process is going to be when
We're
you
gonna
sell this?
cancel that.
Huh?
We're gonna cancel it and.
Well,
turn
because
it
wait a
to-
minute, can you?
Oh, but you need for-
Yeah, I needed to hear, yeah.
Disposition of any real property owned by the CRA for sale or lease is governed by Section 163.380 of Florida statutes. Requires public notice, requires basically an invitation for persons or firms to respond and put in what they would want to do with the property, and basically a proposal. It's a request for proposals.
So is that request or proposal posted on the CRA's website and the city's website?
It's a notice that's posted in the newspaper of general circulation.
So only in the Miami Herald
If
that
you want to
maybe,
post it on the website,
5% of the city
if you want
reads.
to post it on the website or Demand Star or anything else, of course.
no,
you
I
can
think
do
it should.
that.
And also, do you guys follow the city code that says that it can't be sold for less than 90% of the appraised value?
No, because we're not subject to the city's code. We're subject to state law.
So you guys can pretty much sell it for whatever amount that you guys want?
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, we do appraisals on the property. We sell them for what is in the best interest of the CRA.
And you guys are deciding that? It's not coming to the board?
Yes, it's coming.
No, can we
Yeah, it
clarify?
comes to the board.
Or it comes to the board when,
Of course
okay.
it comes to the board.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure, because if we're selling a house, and we know that there's a housing crisis in Miami-Dade County, and people are looking to purchase homes, and if that's being noticed in the public, I think it should just be, making sure that, hey, it's on the website so that people can access it, so that they can also fairly build on this house as well. I know we've had issues in the past, well, not issues, but I know we've had, properties in the past where former council members purchased properties. So my thing is, I think it needs to be fair. There was property that, people were able to purchase.
Okay.
Maybe not from the CRA, but I'm just saying. So I just want to make sure that it is advertised and people are aware that the city is selling land, or, that we address this issue,
Okay,
collectively.
and I think for that, my motion and for when it comes up and is to allow housing and social service to use NSP money to rehab this property and put it for rent because there's a need for that. It's better than 100,000 won't do anything serious for the city. It's better to allow the people to do that. Thank you very much. And can I get a motion to adjourn?
Did we vote to pass?
Do we have to pass that
Yeah, we
motion?
didn't pass the last motion. I don't
Yeah, we
think
passed.
We did, we voted and passed?
Yeah.
Oh, now I remember.
Yeah.
Apologies, apologies.
Oh, I thought the mayor was making a motion.
Is there a
now.
motion to adjourn?
So
What
moved.
happened?
I thought you
Second.
were making a motion about the NSP, but okay, never mind.
I have a motion made by Board Member Galvin to adjourn, seconded by Board Member Estime Irvin. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote. It is 6:18.